So for today's Coach's Corner, I'd like to talk about separating facts from thoughts, which can be tricky. After all, our thoughts come straight from our own brains, so we believe them. They must be absolutely true. But facts are things that most people would agree on that would hold up in a court of law. Thoughts are how we interpret our stories. To help illustrate this, I'd like to share with you a story, a life event as told to me by one of my clients, Molly. Molly is a very stressed and overworked mother who lives in a forest next to a mean old man, Mr. McDougar. Molly has 4 children, Flopsy, Mopsy, Mildred, and Peter. Peter is the only boy of the group, making him a big troublemaker. Molly has told her children many, many times do not go into Mr. McDougar's vegetable garden. The girls, Flopsy, Mopsy, and Mildred, obediently refrain from entering the garden. One day, Peter decides to go to the garden and then eat some vegetables. Molly said he was probably just hungry. He always is. So Peter ate a ton of vegetables and so then went looking for some parsley to cure his tummy ache. Unfortunately, Mr. McDougar sees Peter. He looks angry with Peter and gives chase. In Peter's haste to make an escape, he loses his jacket and shoes. He runs past a murderous cat and is able to escape by sliding under the gate, barely able to fit through. After returning home, a sick and contrite Peter was sent to bed by his mother. She was so mad at him because he lost the second set of jacket and shoes in 2 weeks. His sisters had a scrumptious dinner of milk, bread, and blackberries, while Peter had chamomile. My client presented this story as absolutely 100% true, but is it really? How much are really just her thoughts about the event? So let's take a look at the story. Is Molly stressed and overworked? Would this hold up in a court of law? This may be how she describes herself, but a mother of 20 living in a shoe may not see it that way. So stressed and overworked is just a thought. She really does live where she says, next to Mr. McDougar, but is Mr. McDougar mean or old? Maybe Molly is 25 and Mr. McDougar is 50. So is 50 old? 50 is a fact, but old is not a fact. And maybe Molly has a bias against people who grow gardens. So mean and old are not facts, just her thoughts. Peter is the only boy of her children. That is a fact, but him being a troublemaker? This could really just be a thought. Maybe he has undiagnosed ADHD. Maybe he's on the autism spectrum. So maybe he needs help, but he may not be a troublemaker. It is true that Molly told her children not to go into the vegetable garden, but the girls being obedient, well, that may just be a thought. Maybe they were too afraid, or maybe they were just too lazy. We don't really know that they were obedient. Peter does go into the vegetable garden, that we know. 10 out of 10 people would agree to that. But did he eat because he was hungry? Maybe not. Maybe he just ate because it was there. And we assume that Mr. McDougar chases Peter because he doesn't want him in the garden. But maybe he's trying to give Peter some parsley. Or maybe he saw a snake and he's just running. We can't really know that he's angry at Peter. Now, if Mr. McDougar had actually said, "Peter, get out of my garden," while chasing him with a hoe, then we know. Peter runs past a cat. That's a fact. But was it murderous? That's just Molly's way of describing this cat. We can't know that for a fact. Is Peter sick and contrite? Well, if Peter is throwing up, then we could look at sick as a fact, but contrite, who knows? Is Molly mad at Peter? That's what she said, but mad is a secondary emotion. Maybe she was actually feeling fear or frustration. And the scrumptious dinner, well, would 10 of 10 people agree that a dinner of milk, bread, and blackberries was scrumptious? Molly's thoughts certainly add interest to the story, but it doesn't make it true. What are the stories you've been telling yourself? How much of them are fact and how much of them are your thoughts? If you could use some help looking at your stories to really discover truth and create peace, I can help. Give me, Marianne Bandy, a call, 303-746-7799. I can help.